What's going on, friends, and welcome back to the Minecraft Hub channel. Today's video, we have something a little bit different for you guys, but I think this is an awesome idea. We are going to be basically going over our top 5 favorite Hermitcraft Season 7 shops that are actually located over in the shopping district. Now, before we dive into this, first things first, this is personal opinion. I think this list is pretty accurate, and a lot of you guys can probably agree on some of these things in the top 5. But depending on who your favorite hermit is, what shops you like best, your list might be different. So let us know your feedback down in the comment section. If you want to pick your top 5 shops, I would love to see what you guys have to say. Now, secondly, we are going to be judging the shops based on 2 different factors. The first and most important obvious shop in the shopping district is literally all about making diamonds and making hard profits on the server and trying to become the richest hermit. Now, the second thing we're also going to be taking into account, some of my favorite builds on the server literally come from the shopping district because of how unique a lot of the stores and shops actually are. And what I love about it is it's basically like real life. The bigger the shop or the brighter the colors, the more attractive it is, and obviously that'll have more traffic, giving the hermits more diamonds, and I think it's really awesome when it comes to Shells, Treasure Island. Now, this actually technically isn't a shop. There is going to be a few minigames on this list. This is one of the recent minigames in the last few months that was now added to the server, and overall, it was a really great idea because it was awesome for all the hermits to actually participate in. It was extremely popular. I'm pretty sure this gal made a very large sum of diamonds with this minigame, and it was also very entertaining for all of us to watch all the different hermits actually partake in this game, because it was basically like gambling at the end of the day. You buy a shovel with diamonds and you don't even know whether or not you're going to get anything good out of it, which makes it that much more enjoyable to watch. Also, the idea is very unique, which gave it extra bonus points and put it up on the number 5 spot. And overall, the way he did this by creating an island and the way he had it set up to where the shovels and fence and everything was just really well put together, so it definitely deserves to be on the list. Now, coming in at the number 4 spot, we have a build that was actually added to the shopping district extremely early on in the season. It is still profitable and active today, and that is Good Times with Scars Chest Monster Shop. This one is a very important shop to have in the server. Although it's nothing crazy, having a ton of shoulders, especially early on in the season, is very valuable, because obviously hermits are doing mega builds. They have a lot of items they need to bring different places, and shoulders are the number 1 way to do this. So this shop obviously had a very high demand. Even this late into the season, I'm sure he still makes a lot of diamonds from it. And on top of it being wildly successful early on in the season, the reason it's up on this list is obviously because it's Good Times with Scar. This man is literally a magician when it comes to building, and the overall aesthetic and the style of the build is very unique. You're literally not going to see anything else like this on the server. The fact that he made a giant monster on the top eating other soldiers to advertise it, it looks amazing, it stands out, and overall the shop is just a really great design. So I absolutely love it, and it is well deserving of the number 4 spot. Now, coming in at the number 3 spot, we have Tango Tech with his Decked Out minigame. Now, this was a very hard one to rank on this list, because when this first came out, this was extremely popular. I would argue that this is probably one of the most popular minigames that any of the hermits have ever made out of all the different seasons. Every hermit was buying diamonds and buying passes to do this. There was a ton of hermits that made multiple videos on this, and overall the viewing experience for us is very enjoyable. A lot of the most popular videos in Season 7 literally have to do with Tango Tech Decked Out. It was a very complex game, and the fact that he did all of that off the top of his head and created everything from scratch is absolutely amazing. So it hits the mark in the first judging spot, which of course it was very popular, it was very profitable. I know he made a lot of diamonds. And secondly, the entire idea and aesthetic of it is also awesome. The fact that the outside is literally a giant Ravager head, and then all underneath the shopping district was literally based on Decked Out. He had a bunch of different areas with note blocks playing different music, and there was just so much time, thought, and consideration that went into this build, which I think it definitely deserves the number 3 spot. The only reason this is not higher on the list is because obviously after a while the game gets old, too many people will play and become good at it, and it's really not as popular as it used to be a few months ago when it was initially released on the server. But I definitely think it deserved a spot because of how popular, successful, and awesome the minigame was. Now, coming in at the number 2 spot, these top 2 ones were extremely hard to figure out. Honestly, depending on which way you look at it, the number 1 and 2 spot could have flipped and gone either way. But coming in at the number 2 spot, we have Good Times with Scar again, and of course we have his landscaping shop, which is very successful and popular here on the Hermitcraft server. In this shop, he sells everything you need for different landscaping and terraforming projects, which obviously is very popular with the hermits because good at doing extremely detailed builds, and it's really just basic stuff that he sells in the shop, but you always need these kind of materials. All the different leaves, the wood, the things to create paths, stuff that you really don't think about, he has all within this shop, which is why it is very popular and also very profitable. All the videos he shows of this is always sold out, and he always makes a ton of diamonds off of it. Now, another reason this thing is ranking so high is because this shop is absolutely gorgeous. I would argue that this is probably the most aesthetically and just best looking shop in the Hermitcraft shopping district for season 7. Out of all the other builds, it looks magnificent, and I think he does a really great job. And I think Scar does a really great job with advertising the fact that it's for landscaping. And obviously it makes sense because Good Times with Scar is probably the best terraformer and landscaper on the server, questionably just the best builder on the server overall, so it makes sense that he would open up this shop and sell all these services to all the other hermits. It's a beautiful build, very profitable, and it's definitely deserving of the number 2 spot. And like I said, it probably could have been number 1 depending on which way you look at it. But with all that out of the way, the number 1 spot that we have today is actually going to be Grian with his barge shop. Grian actually released the barge pretty early on in Hermitcraft Season 7, and when he actually initially built it, it was very small. If you guys remember, he literally just built a little floating thing on a random lake in the shopping district before it was very established, and he basically just sells a bunch of random blocks that you really wouldn't think about, similar to the landscaping shop, but they end up being very important for a lot of the hermits, which is why the demand was so high in the first place. And after him selling out constantly, making a ton of diamonds and not being able to keep up with his demand, Grian actually ended up purchasing a huge chunk of the shopping district and basically scaled up the barge 10 times bigger than what it used to be, and now it is an absolute powerhouse. It's pretty much a monopoly with all the different types of blocks that he releases and sells in the barge, and like I said, it pretty much dominates the shopping district. I would argue that this is probably the most profitable shop in the server right now. Grian definitely has a ton of diamonds to spare, and he is constantly getting sold out, even though he has scaled up a ton. On top of that, he also went into partnership with Impulse and is now selling more blocks than what he was initially doing before, which literally just increases the amount of sales and diamonds they are getting, and I feel like it's only going to continue to grow. Although this was a build that was built pretty early on in the season, it is still wildly popular, and I feel like until the very end of Season 7, this is going to be a very important shop in the shopping district that is going to continuously make him diamonds that he'll be able to scale up. But like I said, for us, this is our top 5 personal list on what we think is the best shops depending on popularity, how many diamonds they make, and also just how unique and aesthetically pleasing the builds are. But we would love to hear your guys' feedback down in the comment section below.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me.